For the first time since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, representatives from the United States, Russia, and Ukraine are sitting down together in a trilateral negotiation format, a diplomatic breakthrough aimed at advancing peace after more than 4 years of war. This comes after the WEF summit in Davos this week, where President Trump said he believes peace negotiations are reasonably close and suggested both Russia and Ukraine may be prepared to negotiate an end to the war, a position he reiterated on January 22nd.
You know, what's happened here is there were times when Putin didn't want to make a deal, times when Zelensky didn't want to make a deal, and it was like opposite times. Now I think they both want to make a deal, but we'll find out.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced that the talks will take place in Abu Dhabi over 2 days, on January 23rd and 24th, following meetings earlier this week between U.S. envoys and Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow. Zelensky describes the talks as a necessary step forward, saying even technical discussions are better than continued silence, and that the foundational documents for a peace settlement are nearly ready. But he made clear that any progress requires mutual readiness for compromise.
Today we met with President Trump, and our teams are working almost every day. It's not simple. The documents aimed at ending this war are nearly ready, and that really matters. Ukraine is working with full honesty and determination, and that brings results, and Russia must become ready to finish this war, to stop this aggression.
U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, along with Donald Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner and senior advisor Josh Grunbaum, have been leading the American diplomatic push. U.S. officials say preparatory work suggests negotiators are down to one issue, which many diplomats interpret as the territorial dispute over eastern Ukraine. Ukraine and the U.S. have also discussed post-war security guarantees that Kyiv seeks to formalize, including higher-level commitments on defense cooperation. Zelensky reaffirmed that such security arrangements are central to Kyiv's stance ahead of the talks. Despite optimism in diplomatic circles, a clear expectation is that the thorny issue of territory, particularly control over the Donbass region and other occupied areas, will dominate the discussions. Russia's position, reinforced by Putin and his aides, is that a long-term settlement cannot be achieved without resolving these territorial questions, a stance Kyiv and its Western supporters reject.
Питання Донбасу ключове. Його будуть обговорювати модальності, як три сторони це бачать в Абу-Дабі.
Ukrainian negotiators have insisted that any negotiations must respect Ukraine's sovereignty and that territorial concessions are not on the table. Kyiv has suggested creative alternatives, such as demilitarized economic zones, rather than formal transfer of territory. From the Russian perspective, officials reaffirmed that a settlement must address Moscow's security concerns, including formalizing some form of control or influence over disputed regions. That remains a fundamental sticking point, and analysts caution it could stymie progress even as talks begin. U.S. negotiators are expected to act as intermediaries, aiming to bridge differences on security guarantees, territorial arrangements, and mechanisms for monitoring any ceasefire. Washington's role also includes ensuring that any agreement aligns with broader Western strategic interests. International observers say the choice of Abu Dhabi as host reflects the need for a neutral and secure venue, where technical working groups can meet and build momentum for possible higher-level political negotiations later. Despite the hopes for progress, skepticism remains strong. Many diplomats and analysts caution that without major concessions from Russia on territorial demands and genuine security guarantees for Ukraine, the meeting may produce only incremental steps rather than a comprehensive ceasefire. Ukrainian leaders have framed the talks as a necessary, if difficult, step toward ending the conflict and alleviating the humanitarian crisis. Whether the trilateral format will yield tangible breakthroughs or simply reinforce entrenched positions is the central question facing the world as these historic negotiations unfold.
fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.